Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. The WBC has seemingly thrown Dillian Whyte a bone, saying that if he wins his fight, there could be a fight with the WBC champion, but there are a few strings attached. So I'll go through what the WBC Board of Governors has reviewed and ruled. But I would also note that if you put aside the whole Dillian Whyte, chasing other fights for money, getting stopped by Alexander Povetkin, losing the then mandatory shot and the whole 1,000-day crew, if you just consider he is the WBC interim champion, he should be expecting a fight with the champion at some point. That is what should be the bare minimum in any situation where there's an interim champion, that there was a situation that becomes available, necessitates that there needs to be an interim champion, but as soon as the champion is available and ready to fight, there should be a fight between them and the interim champion. So I'm looking at some of what's happened here through that lens, so I just wanted to say that up front, because I'm not so sure they've really done him any favours here, but they've probably done the very least that they could have done and should do. But anyway, so you can see here on screen, the WBC Board of Governors has reviewed the recent history of the heavyweight division, considering the long inactivity in the division due to the pandemic, ongoing legal processes, and COVID-19 infections. The WBC has ruled that the winner of this fight will have 30 days to secure a contract to unify the heavyweight division against the WBO, IBF, WBA champion Alexander Usyk in search of an undisputed champion in the division. If no unification bout is secured within that time, the winner of Fury vs Wilder 3 must then fight against the then reigning WBC interim champion. So, the first part of that, where it talks about 30 days to secure a contract to face Alexander Usyk. As we already know, Alexander Usyk is going to be facing Anthony Joshua in a rematch some point in early 2022. So they're really sort of pushing the proverbial uphill if they think that can actually happen. But I guess we all live in hope of an undisputed fight at some point, but it's not going to happen. Joshua's already triggered the rematch clause. And I know a few people have sort of said, well, what if Joshua stood aside and then fought the winner? I just don't think it's going to work like that for a couple of reasons. One of them being, I think he would want to be in the first undisputed fight in a generation. This is Joshua, so he'll want to win back titles and then be in the position to be in that undisputed fight. I don't think he would want to stand by and let others fight for it and then have a crack after that. But also, if you did that, standing aside, take some step aside, etc., and wait, you are putting your career in the hands of someone else. And boxing, full of skullduggery, and I was talking about this to someone on Twitter, I just think that, you could end up seeing something, an agreement falling apart before your eyes. So really what this sort of statement by the WBC means that there's 30 days, and then effectively whoever's the WBC interim champion is going to have a fight with the actual champion. And Dillian Whyte, currently the WBC interim champion, he has a fight on the 30th of October. That's against Otto Wallin. That's in the UK. So that whole 30-day window, it's also probably to let his fight happen. So then we can actually see, well, who's going to have the title. And I guess there is actually some room here that there could be an upset in that fight with Whyte and Wallin. There will no doubt be a rematch clause, the dreaded rematch clauses. That will be one of the provisions, the conditions that Otto Wallin has agreed to get this fight. And if he didn't agree to it, he wouldn't have got the fight. You can take it to the bank that Dillian Whyte has a rematch clause in his pocket, so if he loses, then obviously he would rematch Otto Wallin. But obviously, if that happens, then a fight with the WBC champion, that may not happen for some time, because then the WBC champion would be whoever that is at the time, Wilder or Fury, would have the opportunity to face someone else. But the whole thing about having 30 days and then, interim to face the actual champion, etc., like I said at the top, it doesn't really it's not like the WBC's bent over backwards here. they are only doing the bare minimum here. And part of it too, no doubt, is forced by Dillian Whyte, who's had a process of arbitration which is happening in Switzerland. He recently took some court action in the United States to get some documents for his arbitration case, etc. He's been trying to force them to give him a title shot. And this is the sort of eventual outcome. But it's not like they're so effusive and bending over backwards and saying that's going to happen within a day, and that there's still strings, there's still conditions, etc. So I'm not sure how much they've actually done here for Dillian Whyte. I know some people are sort of, praising this and saying this is a really positive outcome, but it's just another sort of step in a process that could lead to something, but there are strings attached, and Whyte's still got to win his fight on October the 30th. So it is news, as it were, but is it really good news, or is it just what should be expected, like I say? What do you make of this? Drop a comment, loud and often, hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.